Today, we're digging into something really cool. It's a framework for getting better at, well, being human. And it takes its playbook straight from the world of machine learning. I mean, just think about that for a second. What if you had a clear, systematic guide to how your own mind works? A manual for debugging your bad habits and, upgrading your responses to whatever life throws at you. Well, that's exactly what we're going to unpack. We're looking at a guide that reframes the kind of complex, super rigorous ideas from machine learning into a surprisingly practical user manual for you. And this, right here, is the mission statement. It's not about being perfect. No, it's about getting a little bit better day by actually learning from what's working and what isn't. The whole point is to make choices you'll be happier with down the road.
So let's start with the big idea, right? How on earth can the way we train an AI possibly have anything to do with our own lives?
And here's the key thing to get. This isn't just some cutesy metaphor like, oh, your brain is like a computer. No, the framework we're exploring here is a really structured, systematic approach that's built on proven mathematical concepts. It's the real deal. Okay, so to really make this work for us, we need a translation key. We gotta map the super technical jargon of machine learning to our, everyday human stuff. And this table just lays it all out perfectly. Your policy? That's just your habits, the stuff you do every day. Your data set? That's your life experience, everything you've ever done. And the errors? Well, in-sample error is basically regret about the past. And out-of-sample error is that anxiety about messing up in the future. So, you see, the goal is to build better habits now to minimize that future regret. Simple. I absolutely love this idea of regularization. Think of it like putting on behavioral seatbelts, right? These are the little rules you set for yourself to keep you from flying off the handle. Things like no checking work email after 9 p.m. or I have to wait 24 hours before buying anything over $50 online. They just keep you stable and stop you from swerving all over the road based on some temporary impulse. So, if we're treating ourselves like a complex system, that means, yeah, we're gonna have bugs. But hey, the best thing about bugs, they can be fixed. Let's take a look at a really common one.
Okay, this slide is so important. On one side, you have overfitting. This is what happens when we get stuck explaining away a past mistake. We create this perfect, detailed story for why we messed up, but that story doesn't actually help us do better next time. Where you want to be is generalization. That means building habits and principles that actually work in brand new situations, even when you're having a bad day.
And here's the trap. Overfitting, that whole rationalization thing, it feels kind of good in the moment. It's comfortable. But long term, it's actually stopping you from learning the lesson, which leaves you way less prepared for the next challenge that comes along. Okay, so we've seen the problem. How do we actually start fixing these bugs? Well, the source material gives us a super simple daily protocol to do just that. Let's see how it works. The source calls this human SGD, and it's just 4 easy steps. First, name the trigger. What exactly just happened? Second, score your regret. On a scale of 0 to 10, how bad do you feel about it? Third, and this is the magic part, change just one tiny thing, one little knob, and how you'll handle it next time. And finally, fourth, schedule a check-in for tomorrow. That's it. Small, steady improvements.
And here is a perfect real-world example. The trigger? A super stressful email. The regret score? A pretty high 7 out of 10. Now, the fix isn't some massive personality change. It's tiny. It's just one knob. You commit to drafting your reply and then just waiting 10 minutes before you hit send. See? It's so small, so doable.
So that's the daily tactic. But let's zoom out for a second to the long-term strategy. How do we train ourselves for the future? The source gives us 3 main strategies. First, collect better data. That means actively asking people for honest feedback. Second, control your capacity. Seriously, don't try to change 10 things about yourself at once. Pick 1 or 2 goals and focus. And third, validate your new habits. See if that new, calmer response you're practicing at work also holds up at home. You have to check if the lessons actually stick. Okay, don't let the equations scare you. We're not doing any math here. This is just a really elegant way of summing up the entire philosophy. Basically says a well-trained human is someone who's always trying to minimize their future regret. But, and this is the most important part, they do it while staying true to their values and having empathy. Those things are non-negotiable.
And that really gets to the heart of it. This whole framework is not about turning yourself into some cold, calculating robot. It's about using this logical, systematic approach to become more of the person you actually want to be, to close that gap between your actions and your values, one tiny tweak at a time.
So, I'll leave you with this to think about. Using that simple 4-step process, what's one little bug in your own system you could start working on today? What's the very first knob you're going to turn? Thanks for watching.